So we are now looking at example number 38 on the factoring homework on page 234, and we're going to be factoring out the greatest common factor between these three terms. So when you're looking for the greatest common factor between multiple terms, the first thing you're going to do, we'll look at the constants first. So we have 24, 36, and 60. The 24 is the smallest of the three values. So what we're going to do is we're going to use 24 as our baseline and look at the factors of 24 and go from largest to smallest to see which factors also go into 36 and 60. So if I were to factor 24, I have 24 and 1 are my first factors. Now, 24 does not go into 36 and it does not go into 60. So we're going to go down gradually. So now we're going to look at 12 and 2. So we want to see, again, we're looking at the largest of the factors. If 12 goes into all three of these, 12 does go into 36 and 12 does go into 60. Therefore, that is our greatest common constant factor. So I'm going to take the 12 and I'm going to pull it out of the expression, and we'll come back to this. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to now look at the variables. I have A and B present in all three terms. So the question is, how many A's and how many B's can I take out of each term? Well, this term has 3, it has A cubed, this term has A squared, and this term has A to the 4th. And as we did with the constants, we have to look at the smallest amount. So we are going to look at A squared. Remember, the greatest common factor is the greatest factor that is present and common in all terms. We can't take out an A cubed because there aren't 3 A's for this term. We can't take out A to the 4th because there aren't 4 A's here and there aren't 4 A's here. You can only factor out the smallest amount that goes into each, or the largest amount that goes into each term. This, for us, is going to be an A squared. So I'm going to take an A squared out of all three terms. So now we've done the A, so we're going to look at the B value. I've got B squared, B to the 4th, and B cubed. The smallest one is B squared. That is the largest number of B terms present in all three. So I'm able to take out B squared. Now I'm ready to see what I'm left with once I remove these factors. And remember, factoring is like the distributive property in reverse. With distributive property, you're multiplying a factor back into the expression. With the GCF, the greatest common factor, we are now dividing and pulling the greatest common factor out of the expression. So we are going to use division. So 24, when I divide that by 12, gives me 2. A cubed, when I divide by A squared, gives me A. And B squared divided by B squared is just 1. There are no B's left in this term. I've taken both of them out. So let's move to our next term, 36. 36 divided by 12 leaves me with 3. A squared factored out with A squared leaves me with no A term, just 1. We don't need to write the 1. And B to the 4th divided by B squared leaves me with B squared. Now I'm going to move to my third term. 60 divided by 12 is 5. A to the 4th divided by A squared is A squared. And B cubed divided by B squared is just B. So now we have successfully factored out the greatest common factor of all three of these terms, which is 12A squared B squared, because 12A squared B squared is the largest factor that will divide evenly into all three terms.